You ever get that feeling? Like someone's watching you, sends shivers right down your spine.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Peter Jackson, he bottles that feeling in his Lord of the Rings films. And it's all in the eyes, believe it or not.
Huh. I never thought about it like that.
Right. And get this.
Yeah.
We're diving into this presentation today, and it breaks down exactly how he uses eyes. Like,
Mm.
as a visual thing. I'm telling you, even and I've seen these movies a million times, it gave me a whole new appreciation for, like, the subtle stuff going on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's their job, right? Filmmakers rely on those visual cues to sort of enhance the story. They're trusting that we're picking up on that stuff, even subconsciously sometimes.
Totally. Okay, so let's start with the most obvious one. The Eye of Sauron. It's more than just a cool logo, though, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the books, Sauron, he's way more vague. But Jackson takes it up a notch, gives us this literal eye, right? This burning, always watching presence. Like he's tapping into that fear we all have of being watched, controlled by something we can't even see.
It's like Big Brother,
Hmm.
but, like, way scarier.
Right.
And that whole thing about surveillance,
Yeah.
it's almost more relevant now than when the movies came out. It seems like everyone's freaking out about cameras and data and all
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And Jackson, he connects the eye to the ring visually, too. They're both circular, right? Both
Yeah.
about power, like ultimate power, domination. It's like the eye wants to control everything it sees, and the ring, it tempts you with that same promise. Really brilliant way to visualize how those forces, they're all connected in Middle-earth.
I know.
Yeah.
It's wild how much weight a simple shape can carry. But it's not just Sauron getting the eye treatment, is it? Jackson uses close-ups on everyone's eyes. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think those close-ups, they're his way of making the emotion more intense. You know, it lets the audience really connect with what the characters are going through internally. Sometimes words just aren't enough.
And I see what you did there. Eyes. I see. But seriously, give me an example. What kind of struggles are we talking?
Okay, well, take Frodo, for instance. You notice how as the ring starts to affect him more, his eyes change. They start to reflect that darkness. Remember at the beginning, big, innocent hobbit eyes.
Yeah, full of mischief and wonder and all that.
Exactly. But as the ring does its thing, that spark, it's gone. His eyes get clouded over with, like, the burden of it all. It's subtle, but really powerful when you start to notice it.
Yeah, it's rough, eh? Watching that hope drain away. You mentioned internal struggles.
Mm.
Is it always like succumbing to the dark side? Or are there other things, other emotions Jackson's trying to show with, like a look?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm.
It's not all doom and gloom. Take Aragorn, for example.
Okay, yeah.
You've got this guy wrestling with his destiny,
Yeah.
right? The whole weight of his family legacy on his shoulders.
Yeah, he's the king, but he doesn't want to be.
Totally. And we see that playing out in his eyes, like the hesitation, the longing to just run away and live a simple life. But then there's that tiny spark, that determination, right when he accepts who he's meant to be.
He really does become the king, doesn't he? One look at a time.
Exactly. And then there's Gandalf.
Oh, man. Gandalf.
His eyes are different again, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Full of wisdom and knowledge, but there's that sense of foreboding, too, isn't there? Like, he's seen some stuff, you know? Things that would make Sauron look like a kid playing with matches.
Okay, now that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
But you're right. He always seems to know more than he's letting on. It's those little glances, those moments where you feel like he's looking right through you.
Right. Jackson knows how to use those subtle cues, and it's not always subtle either. He's not afraid to show us the dark side, literally through the eyes. Think about Grandma Wormtongue. Everything about that guy just screams liar, and his eyes, they're no exception.
Don't remind me. Gives me the creeps just thinking about him. Speaking of bad choices, what about Denethor? He's another one who didn't exactly have a happy ending.
Denethor is tough, eh? Such a tragic character. You can see the grief and despair just eating away at him. And as he starts to lose it, his eyes change too, right? They become wild, unfocused, like you're looking right into this crumbling mind. It's a stark difference from the Denethor we meet at the start. Proud, determined.
It's like he's searching for some kind of hope, but all he finds is darkness.
And we can't forget about Gollum.
Oh yeah, Gollum. He's a whole other story.
He's the most complicated example, I think. Those eyes are constantly shifting back and forth. Like you can see that internal struggle happening right before your eyes.
Oh, totally.
On the one hand, there's still a bit of Smeagol in there, that hobbit he used to be. You see those little glimpses of vulnerability, of wanting something he can't have. But on the other hand, he's this, like, twisted creature, you know, warped by the ring. And those eyes, Those are a warning sign for Frodo. This
Uh,
is your future, kid, if you're not careful.
Jackson really knows how to say so much with just a look. It's amazing. So we've got the Eye of Sauron up there representing this like ultimate power. And then all these characters down here just trying to deal with their own stuff, their own struggles.
Yeah.
And we see it all reflected in their eyes. You were saying earlier, though, that even the shape of the eye and the ring, that's important too. What's the connection there?
Yeah, that's a great observation. It's the circular shape, that's key. With both the eye and the ring, it represents completion, eternity in a way, but also this trap, you know.
Yeah.
You get caught in that loop.
Because the desire for power, it never really ends, does it?
Exactly. And seeing, the act of seeing, it's so closely tied to power in Tolkien's world. It's about knowledge. The ring promises you that, right? See everything, know everything, but you always pay a price.
It's true, isn't it? Like, be careful what you wish for, or in this case, be careful what magical artifact you wish for.
Right. And it's not even just about the knowing, is it? It's the wanting to know. That constant search for more, that's what can really mess you up. And the ring, it promises you all that, just like the eye wants to control everything it sees.
So we've got this parallel, right? Eye, ring, the characters. The eye wants total control. The ring says, hey, I can give you that. And the characters, their eyes, they show us how that plays out, but like, for real. Makes you think, though, right? Being watched, wanting knowledge, that's not just a Middle-earth thing.
No, not at all. And that's what makes this so interesting. This whole eye thing, it's not just a cool detail in a movie, you know? It reflects these anxieties people have had forever. But now, it's almost scarier because it's like real life, social media, all the cameras, they track everything you do. It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
It's like Sauron's running the show from, like, Silicon Valley or something.
Right. Makes you think about the trade-offs. Like, yeah, technology is convenient, but at what cost? All this knowledge at our fingertips, but are we using it responsibly?
Definitely something to think about. I know the next time I watch Lord of the Rings, I'll be watching for that. Not just the battles and all that, but the themes, too.
And maybe you'll see the world a little differently. I mean, we're all dealing with this, right? Seeing and being seen, looking for knowledge, but hoping we don't misuse it.
That is a really good point to end on. So there you have it. Who knew? Something as simple as a look could be so powerful. It really shows you how amazing visual storytelling can be. In Tolkien's world, it never gets old. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled. And maybe invest in some blackout curtains, just in case.